What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Barcelona have just lost to Osasuna 4-2 away from home. The first loss for Hansi Flick and for Barcelona in this league campaign comes against Vicente Moreno's men at Pamplona, and this game was depressing to watch. It was depressing to watch. I'm just so glad that it's over. Watching this game, felt like I got into a time machine and went back to January of this year watching peak Xavi ball. That's really what it felt like. The worst performance we've had by far under Hansi Flick. It's really not even close. The game against Monaco, obviously we lost that game, but in that game, at least we had the excuse. We were down to 10 men 8 minutes into the game. And for stretches in that game, I actually think Barca played well against Monaco, I'm talking about. There was not a stretch in this game where I thought Barca played well. We were thoroughly outplayed from start to finish, and Osasuna deserved that win, and honestly, they could have won by more. They could have won they could have won 5-2, 6-2, because they had chances in this game, because our back line was so bad. And there's so many things I want to talk about in this game because so many things happen. But we're gonna go step by step. Okay, I don't want to go all over the place. I want to go. I want to hit the points that I want to hit. Okay, so let's start with the starting 11. I understand rotating because obviously the schedule's so congested, especially for these big European teams. You have to rotate at some point. But man, that was too much rotation. Okay, that was too much rotation by Hansi Flick. That's one of the only mistakes I think he's made as Barca coach so far. He's been almost flawless as our coach since he got here. But that's a mistake that he made today. Too much rotation, man. If you want to rest Lamine Yamal, that's fine. You cannot rest Lamine Yamal and rest Rafinha in the same game. You just can't do it. Our attack looks so bad. I mean, if you want to rest Balde, that's fine. But man, the other option is Gerard Martin, so I'd rather just not rest Balde. Because I said Barca lost today. I could have easily said Barca Athletic lost today because that team was full of Barca B players. That was just Barca B with a couple big names. Gerard Martin, Sergio Dominguez, Paulo Torre, Pau Victor. I mean, that's just not good enough. Away against Osasuna, that's not going to cut him, man. You're basically asking to lose. You should have rotated more against Getafe during the week. That's an easier game. Home against Getafe, it's way easier than away from home against Osasuna. That's always a tough place to play. So again, with those rotations, you were asking to lose, basically. It's just not good enough by Hansi Flick. I think he got a little bit too carried away with the rotations. I understand because we have a game against Young Boys on Tuesday in the UCL. And we have to win that game because obviously it's the UCL and we have to make up those points that we lost against Monaco. But still, bro, if you want to rest Lamine Yamal, that's fine, but don't rest Rafinha. If you want to rest Rafinha, that's fine, but don't rest Lamine Yamal. I mean, you have to have more star power out on the pitch because, again, it looks like you took Osasuna lightly, and that is not a team to take lightly. They've been actually really good this season, and they're well coached. So, again, for me, the starting 11, I understand rotation, but that's too much rotation. So I'm not happy with that with Hansi Flick because I think he set us up for failure today with that starting 11, and we saw it. It just wasn't good enough, and I think Hansi Flick thought that maybe his tactics would bail him out, but when you don't have the personnel, I mean, you have to have the quality on the pitch to execute those tactics, and those players just didn't have the quality. So, again, that's just my thoughts on the lineup. Let's get into the first half. It was as bad a first half as I've seen Barca play in a long time. Honestly, in a very, very long time. That was as stale and dull a first half as I've seen, like I said, in a long time. I'm just repeating myself. That was a terrible first half. A terrible first half, honestly. Nothing going forward. Defensively, we were shocking. Man, Brian Zaragoza, bro, this guy, he turns into prime Maradona every time he plays Barca. God, man. He like, I don't know what it is, but he has our number. Against us last year with Granada, he scored a double. Today, he scores a goal and has an assist in the first half. Dude's a fucking beast, man. I don't know what gets into him when he plays Barca, but he's insane. Bulimir was insane today. Scored a double. But yeah, in that first half, and we were thoroughly outplayed from start to finish for the whole game. But that first half specifically, because like I said, that first half was awful. The back line, I mean, Sergio Dominguez and Pau Victor. Oh my God, man. Not Pau Victor, sorry. Sergio Dominguez and Gerard Martin. Oh my God, man. They're just, I'll get more into them like later on in this video, but God, they just weren't good enough. But yeah, like I said, Barca, the first goal, Brian Zaragoza skins Koundé, sends in the cross. Sergio Dominguez, I think, loses his man, Bulimir, and then Bulimir scores a header. And then that second goal, I mean, what Zaragoza does there is a thing of beauty. That ball behind is beautiful. And then when he does there, to take it away from Iñaki Peña and to slot it in the back of the net, that was beautiful to watch. That was a beautiful goal to watch. And again, like I said, Brian Zaragoza, man, this guy, he just always comes back to haunt us in some way. But yeah, the first half from Barca, we didn't have a shot on target in that whole first half. That should tell you how poor we were. We didn't have a shot on target in that first half. All the verticality, all the quick ball progression we've been seeing under Hansi Flick, we saw none of that in that first half. Absolutely nothing. And honestly, for the whole game, I don't know why I keep saying for the first half. For the whole game, we saw none of that. Then the second half comes around. I think Barca, for times in that second half, looked decent. You know, we had that chance where Lewandowski just missed it. Koundé gets deep into the box and he cuts it back, and Lewandowski's right there. You know, with the form that he's been on this season, you expect him to score that, but he shoots it right at the keeper. But again, we were at least getting shots on target. We were looking better than we were in the first half. And then out of nowhere, Pau Victor scores a goal, one of the flukiest goals you'll ever see in your life. The Osasuna keeper just slips and it goes into the back of the net. And at that point, I was like, okay, Barca are actually going to come back. because I was skeptical when Hansi Flick didn't make any changes in the first at halftime, because he should have made changes. But I was like, you know what, fuck it. Maybe he said something to them at halftime that woke them up, and then Pau Victor scores that goal. We had that chance from Lewa, like I said, and I was like, okay, Barca are actually cooking now. We're gonna go and score. We're gonna bring in some subs. We're gonna bring in Rafinha, Lamine Yamal, and they're gonna get us a second goal, and then we might get a third. We might win this game. We might come back from 2-0 down to win this game away from home against Osasuna. But obviously it didn't happen, because after that goal, Barca still looked terrible. Even when the subs came in, Barca still looked terrible. And then Barca give away a penalty. Sergio Dominguez slides in, but again, is it the smartest play by him? No, but he was basically left exposed at the back. If he doesn't make that challenge, the Osasuna player is probably just going to slot it away. But again, should you be making that tackle? No, it was a stupid tackle. But Balde, bro, Balde's pace there was terrible. Balde, I thought he was fast. He looked like a 50-year-old man running after that Osasuna player who sent in the cross. He just looked like a 50-year-old man. That was not good effort by Balde, in my opinion. And for the whole team, honestly, the effort today was not good. But anyway, let's move on to let's just talk about the summary of the game, the goals, and then we can talk about individual players. Then Osasuna scored that fourth goal. Iñaki Peña, in my opinion, should maybe be doing better there, but again, it was a great goal. It was a great goal from Osasuna. Osasuna last year scored a banger against us too in that stadium. I mean, they always score bangers against us. And that same goal, by the way, if you guys remember that game, Barca won it 2-1. But it was again like this one. It was a terrible performance, but Barca actually managed to win it. Today we lose. But anyway, I'm getting off track here, sidetrack. Osasuna scored a great goal. It was like a volley. I think he just shoots it and it goes. It's not really that near the post, so you would think Iñaki Peña can make a save on it. But he doesn't make a save, so you know what? Whatever. Who gives a fuck? And then Barca score a goal. Lamine Yamal scores a banger, so he has another goal or another goal for the season. So that can obviously it can add to the tally of his GA so far this season, which I'm happy about that. But that's honestly the only silver lining of this game is Lamine Yamal getting another goal. But yeah, we talked about the goals. Now let's talk about the players, okay? Because that's really what I want to talk about in today's video. Because there's so many players that I saw out on that pitch today that do not deserve to wear a Barca kit. They just don't deserve to play for in my opinion, the greatest club in the history of football. Let's go player by player, okay? Iñaki Peña in goal. Iñaki Peña today, I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. Do I think the first 3 goals were his fault? No. He gets skinned by Brian Zaragoza, but again, that's a great play by him. So I don't think it was necessarily Iñaki Peña's fault for that first goal, but again, he never gives me confidence when he plays. When I see Iñaki Peña in goal, that's the one thing that you want from your goalkeeper is that he gives you confidence every time he's between the posts. And Iñaki Peña never instills that confidence in me as a Barca fan. When he plays with his feet, he looks terrible, honestly. When he comes out and tries to he tries to do that Neuer sweeper keeper type of shit, and it always looks so awkward. But again, he gets it done, but he never gives me confidence. So for me, again, I think he wasn't terrible today because the penalty was just a really good penalty by William. I don't think he can save that, but he wasn't great either. So I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. I think he was a little bit above average, but he wasn't great. Okay, he just wasn't great. And again, with his feet, he's not great. And I think he should have saved that fourth goal by Osasuna. But again, that's just my opinion. I'm not a pro keeper. Maybe people think I'm crazy, but I think he could have done better for that fourth goal. But anyway, Iñaki Peña to me was the least of my concerns, because now we move on to the back line. Jules Koundé at right back, he got skinned by Brian Zaragoza for that first goal. I get that. But I think Koundé today, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. I'm going to give Koundé a 7 out of 10 because while it was not his best game whatsoever, he was one of the only good Barca players out there today. One of the only guys that was actually trying. I mean, going forward, on that right-hand side, he was the only one trying to make shit happen. Because the other guy on that right-hand side that we're going to get to later on in this video, we know did fuck all today. I mean, I did fuck all today, if you want to say that. But again, to me, Koundé defensively, he wasn't perfect. Like I said, he got skinned by Zaragoza. But going forward, and I think he was a little bit better. But again, not his best performance. But again, like I said, I think he was one of the best Barca players on the pitch. So I'm gonna give him a 7 out of 10. Then we move on to Pau Cubarsí. I'm gonna give him a 7 out of 10 as well. Actually a 6.5 out of 10. I don't think he was stellar, but I think he was probably the best Barca center back because the guy next to him, Sergio Dominguez, to me gets a 3 out of 10. Sergio Dominguez gets a 3 out of 10 for me, man. He was awful today. Absolutely fucking terrible. This guy should not be on the pitch for Barcelona. He just can't be on the pitch, man. He can't be on the pitch. He loses his marker for that first goal from William. He gives away the penalty. He's simply not good enough. With his feet, God, man. It's just like, I don't know what passes he was playing. He looks so shaky on the ball. Defensively, his awareness he comes and goes. So for me, Sergio Dominguez gets a 3 out of 10. I haven't been doing player ratings for a long time. I don't think you'll see lower than a 3 out of 10. Actually, you're going to see lower than a 3 out of 10 in this video because we know who I'm going to talk about later on. We already know. I'm kind of warming up to it, but it's hard for me to give someone a 3 out of 10, but for me, he gets a 3 out of 10. Now we move on to Gerard Martin at left back. 2.5 out of 10. Again, terrible, man. Terrible. Just not Barca quality. Why don't you play Hector Ford? I don't understand why Hansi Flick doesn't like Hector Ford. I don't understand his obsession with Gerard Martin. I really don't understand his obsession with Gerard Martin, who's simply not good enough. He's simply not good enough. Some players are just not good enough for Barcelona, and that's okay. Very few players are good enough to wear that shirt. It's not an insult to Gerard Martin, but he's simply not good enough. That's just the fact of the matter. He cannot see the pitch again. Every time he plays, he does nothing. When he comes in as a sub, he fucking looks terrible. When he starts the game, he looks even worse. Not good enough from Gerard Martin. So the back line for me, again, the two best were Koundé and Kouarsi like we expected. And then the two guys next to him just completely let the team down. Again, Koundé and Kouarsi were not great by any means, but when you put them next to those two, they look like fucking Nesta and Cafu out there. They look like Nesta and Cafu. Because, again, those two guys made them look terrible. Then we move on to the midfield. Eddie Garcia, not a DM. Gets a 4 out of 10 for me today. Just with his feet, terrible. Just had a chance where he could play, had a chance in the second half where he could have easily played it back to the keeper and he hooped it up the pitch. He has no temperament to play that position because he's not a DM. Defensively, he was losing the ball so much in that first half. We were just getting exposed at the back. You know, we were just left exposed because he didn't know who to play it to. He doesn't have the temperament, he doesn't have the awareness to play in that position, and he's just simply not good enough. And the less we see from Eddie Garcia this year, it's going to be the better for us because he's just simply, he had a good spot. Girona last year. Girona and Barca are different. It's a different type of pressure when you're wearing a Barca shirt than when you're wearing a Girona shirt. So for me, Eddie Garcia just wasn't good enough today. 4 out of 10. Then we move on to Pedri. 8 out of 10 for me. The best Barca player on the pitch today. Actually, 8.5 out of 10 for me. The best Barca player on the pitch today. He was doing fucking everything. He had a chance. He had a play in that first half where he was getting held on by a defender. And he gets away from that and he plays a beautiful ball behind to Ferran Torres. I mean, Pedri today was fucking stellar to me, man. Again, it was basically Pedri against Osasuna. He was the best Barca player on the pitch by far and away. It wasn't even close. We still saw the Pedri that we're used to seeing. And again, he played well to me. So to me, Pedri was the best player on the pitch, 8.5 out of 10. To move on to the front four, let's start off with Pau Victor. I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10 because he scored that goal. I honestly think he was Barca's best attacker today. And I know that's not really saying a lot, but I think he was Barca's best attacker today. And again, he scored the goal. He's not the best. I mean, that left-hand side for the most part was fucking terrible today. It was non-existent basically. But that's a lot to do with the fact that we were playing Gerard Martin, who's, again, a liability defensively and going forward. So, again, he didn't really have much to work with on that left-hand side. And, again, like I said, I think he scored the goal. He looked decent to me. He's going to get a 7 out of 10. The best Barca attacker today. Then move on to Pablo Torre. 5 out of 10 for me today. He was bang average. Just wasn't good enough. He just simply wasn't good enough. Can't think of a memorable moment he had in this game. So, for me, Pablo Torre gets a 5 out of 10. Because he just simply was not good enough. He just wasn't good enough. His decision-making was poor at times. He just wasn't controlling the ball. Barca's midfield could barely keep the ball, and he just wasn't helping with that. So for me, Pablo Torre today was bang average, gets a 5 out of 10. Robert Lewandowski, we're gonna save the worst for last. If you couldn't tell, Robert Lewandowski today to me gets a 5 out of 10. Again, he was average. Didn't get any service because, again, Barca couldn't create anything. But the one chance he did get, he has to slot it away. He had to slot that chance away. And when you're a striker of the caliber of Robert Lewandowski, especially the way he's playing this season, you have to put that chance away. You simply have to put it away. So again, for me, Leo didn't do anything particularly bad, but missing that chance is bad, and especially when you're a striker and you only get a few of those a game. You have to put that away. And I think his hold-up play was decent today, but again, it wasn't great. So for me, Leo gets, actually no, let's give him a 5.5 out of 10 because I think, he was a little bit better than average, but just wasn't good enough still. So I'm going to give him a 5.5 out of 10. And now we move on to Ferran Torres. The subs, I mean, Lamine Yamal scores a goal, Rafinha comes in, they were all fucking average, honestly. The subs were all average. I don't want to talk about the subs. I want to talk about Ferran Torres, who to me today gets a 1 out of 10. I'm not even joking when I say this, by the way, guys. I'm not even trying to be hyperbolic. As you guys know, as a lot of you guys know, and I'm not trying to say this to like flex or like to fucking big up myself. I've been watching Barca for a really long time. I've seen a lot of players play at Barcelona. Ferran Torres today had one of the worst performances I've ever seen a Barca player have, and I'm not even being hyperbolic when I say that. He was fucking terrible today. Absolutely terrible. There's nothing he did well today. He didn't track back. He couldn't control the ball. He couldn't take on a man. He couldn't do anything, bro. He could not do anything. Nothing today. That was as bad of a performance as I've seen. And he had that one chance in the second half where he turned to like fucking prime Messi. He took on like 2 players, fucking mexed someone in the box, and then he couldn't even finish. But that's Ferran Torres for you. It's a real coach. He does something amazing, and then he just sucks for the whole game. The guy is bad. The biggest mysteries in the world, in the history of football, not in the history of football, in the history of the universe, the Malaysia flight that went missing, and how the fuck Ferran Torres has managed to play for Man City and for Barcelona. And also another one, it's not the third one, how the fuck did Ferran Torres play the whole game today? How was he on the pitch for the whole game? How does Ansu Fati not get a minute when you're seeing Ferran Torres on the pitch? Hansi Flick, what are you seeing with this guy, man? We used to make jokes on this channel that Lewandowski had Xavi's nudes. That's why Xavi refused to take him off, early last season. Does Ferran Torres have your nudes, man? If he does, send them to me, please, Ferran. I mean, let me get some of those pics of the Flickinator. But in all seriousness, man, what the fuck do you see in this guy? What do you see in this guy? He was so bad today, man. There was nothing he did well. His touch was so heavy. It's like he had a brick for a cleat. God, he was awful today. It was so depressing to watch Ferran Torres on the pitch today. He makes me believe that I can be a pro footballer. He gives me confidence. He gives me hope in myself that I can one day be a pro footballer. Honestly, it's what I get when I watch Ferran Torres play. That's how bad he is. Oh my God. That was just so fucking painful to watch today. Just simply not good enough. Simply not good enough from Ferran Torres. I think Even the Spanish commentators were saying it in the game. They couldn't believe it. Mario Alberto Kempes, fucking World Cup winner with Argentina. Why am I saying fucking? Why am I cursing there? Mario Alberto Kempes, World Cup winner with Argentina in 78. You know, striker that played for Valencia, one of the greatest Argentinian players of all time. He was like, I cannot believe Ferran Torres is still in the game. What is he doing? And I concur. I don't know what he was doing in that game. I want to see Ansu Fati get more minutes. But again, like I said, today, the lineup was a disaster, but is that really all on Hansi Flick? No, because Barca's squad is already thin, man. We're already dealing with some of the... We have the worst injury crisis probably in all of Europe. Look at our injury list. It's like an all-star squad, man. And when you already have those injuries and the schedule's so congested, there's only so much you can do. So again, do I think Hansi Flick rotated too much? Yes. But at the end of the day, you can't blame the guy because he has to rotate. It's the only thing he can do. If not Barca, we're gonna be fucked. We're gonna have all of our best players injured. We're not gonna have a squad come December of this year. So it's on Hansi Flick, but it's also on these fucking footballing federations for scheduling so many games because these players are getting hurt. And when you have a squad as thin as Barca, there's only so much you can do, bro. There's only so much you can do. But again, I think Hansi Flick should have rotated more against Getafe. You know, he barely rotated against Getafe, but he rotates all the players today. You know, find a balance. You know, maybe you rest Rafinha against Getafe, but you play him today. Or you rest Lamine Yamal against Getafe, but you play him today. You don't rest them both at the same time against Osasuna in Pamplona. A tough ground to play at, like I said. But yeah, man, 4-2, first loss of the season. We'll see what happens in the Madrid derby tomorrow. Hopefully, Real Madrid lose that game, and Atletico Madrid can help us, you know, keep that lead over them at top of the table. But yeah, man, Ferran Torres is just not good enough to be a Barca player. He's just simply not good enough to be a Barca player, and this guy has to be sold. The moment we have to sell Ferran Torres, it will be one of the happiest days of my life when we saw Ferran Torres. The guy can't do anything. He cannot do anything. He's useless on the pitch, man. He's honestly useless on the pitch. But yeah, for me, the Barca squad as a whole played average today. Let me know your player ratings in the comment section down below. Whatever you guys want to rate those players. To me, like I said, every player today, apart from a few, were just terrible. And yeah, man, now we wait to see what happens against Young Boys on Tuesday. We have to win that game, so hopefully we play a stronger squad. We have to play a stronger squad because, you know, we cannot beat Young Boys with that squad either. That squad was terrible. But again, for me, Sergio Dominguez, Gerard Martin, not good enough to be Barca players. Play Hector Fort. You know, don't rest Inigo because I don't want to see those guys on the pitch again. That was a putrid performance today by them. It was putrid by them. But yeah, man, I love every single one of you guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. We move on. Okay, this is not the end of the world. This season, this is not going to spiral. This is not going to tank our confidence. We're going to move on. We're going to beat Young Boys. And this Barca team, we have to keep having faith, okay? I talked a lot of shit about the game today, but I still have faith in this Barca squad. And I still have faith in Hansi Flick that we're going to get it together. And we're going to continue the season as we've been playing, which is amazing. We've been amazing for 95% of the season. Don't let a couple games here and there distract you from that fact. We're still an amazing team, and we're going to win against Young Boys on Tuesday. And once we get our squad back, Europe is in trouble. Because Europe is already in trouble with the team that we have now. Just wait till we get Pedri and Gavi and Araujo and Christensen and Frankie de Jong back. And wait till we get those guys back. And Fermín López and Dani Olmo. Wait till we get those guys back. And then all the people who are laughing at Barca now won't be laughing then. I'm talking about Madrid fans and Bayern Munich fans. Because we'll see you guys in October. And if we have a fully healthy squad, I believe we'll beat you. So again, you can laugh now that we lost to Osasuna. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, I get it. I mean, when Madrid lose, I laugh too. But just relax a little bit, okay? Because we're coming for you. Just know that. But yeah, I love you guys, man. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.